I'm Robin Burke, Engineering Advisor for Flood Modeling with Natural Resources Canada.
I'm Steve Lipke with the Fraser Basin Council.
And I'm Heather McGrath, a geospatial scientist with Natural Resources Canada.
Flooding is Canada's most common recurring natural hazard. Each year in Canada, on average, there is over $1 billion in flood damages and costs. Some of this borne by insurance companies, a lot of it borne by different levels of government, and the rest of it borne by homeowners across Canada. We also know that up to 94% of homeowners in Canada don't have a sense for their individual or home level flood risk. And we think that this is a significant issue in terms of being able to mitigate flood risk, increase community resiliency, and decrease community and homeowner vulnerability to flooding. So one of the main issues that we have is trying to figure out how to communicate flood risk in an effective way. And there are a number of issues with the way that it's currently being communicated. And a good example of that is the 1 in a 100-year flood. We've seen in the Ottawa area that we had floods approaching or exceeding the 1 in a 100-year flood in 2017 and 2019. And this is quite confusing for people who live in flood zones or even outside of flood zones. So what we want to do with this challenge is figure out a way to better communicate flood risk to homeowners, to communities, to governments, anybody who may have to understand flood risk to make decisions for their employment or for their home and their families as well. So we're excited that you're all going to join us here on this challenge. We've presented a slideshow that we can sort of use to talk you through what we're trying to do. We think that if we can really tackle the communication piece, this can have a really significant impact on some of the easier pieces to tackle in terms of flood risk and reducing flood risk. So we know that there are some major challenges, including data acquisition, challenges in terms of climate change and uncertainty in modeling. But if we can figure out a way to better communicate flood risk, then I think we can probably engage people a lot better and maybe be making better decisions about how to reduce our flood risk in the future.